It's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing, it's an everyday thing when you let your nuts hang.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large number of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that. We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like. And you all know Russell Vought. He's become very popular recently because he can trim the budget to a level that you couldn't do any other way. So they're taking a risk by having a shutdown because of the shutdown, we can do things medically and other ways, including benefits. We can cut large numbers of people out. We don't want to do that, but we don't want fraud, waste, and abuse. And, we're cutting that. We can do things during the shutdown.
All right. Is that a threat? Yeah, is that a threat? What you gonna do during the shutdown? Fire 750,000 government employees so we can have a better government, right? But this economy is doing so great that we have to fire employees. What does that mean? Are they going to go out and find other jobs? Is the job economy that great? I don't know. I don't know if the job economy is that great. I haven't been in the job economy for a very long time. But I tell you what, somebody about to lose their job. You are about to lose your job. And you know what's also crazy? If you voted for Trump and you lose your job, how does that make you feel as a government employee? I wouldn't be too hot about that. If he called you non-essential and you're a hard-working American, we're going to get to that. Watch this.
We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible, that are bad for them and irreversible by them, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things that they like, cutting programs that they like.
He even floated the idea of cutting benefits without saying which ones.
We can do things medically and other ways, including benefits.
Even without the fear of layoffs, if the shutdown happens, as many as 4 million federal employees could go unpaid. In Thompson, Illinois, that means prison officers already stretched thin, now pushed to the max.
We need the government to stay open so that we don't have to live off our credit cards, that we don't have to take multiple loans just to pay our mortgage, to pay our daily necessities.
And families of roughly 2 million service members could feel the pinch too. Jamie Billard, whose husband is in the Coast Guard, is preparing to tell her kids they'll have to scale back on things like dinners out and picture day at school.
What do we set as a priority? Your dad's not getting paid right now. That's our sole source of income. I said no because there's bigger things happening here.
We can do things during the shutdown that are
Are y'all happy about that? Women and children losing their health insurance, kids not being able to go to daycare, parents losing their jobs, single mothers losing their jobs. We love single mothers. All you got, if you want a campaign, just be like, look after the single mother and children. Just think about them, because every time you're going to hear it all through the night. Single mothers and children, you're going to hear that. They don't give a damn about the man. The man, he can pull himself up by his bootstraps, apparently. But people are about to lose their jobs. After this government shutdown, once they start bringing stuff back, if the Republicans don't get what they want, they're going to automatically start laying off employees. Now, I don't know if y'all are government employees, but apparently there was some rumblings about government employees having to tell Doge what they had to do at work every week. there was a letter that they had to, I don't know, email or something every week to tell them what they were going to do to see how essential of an employee they are. And you know what? 750,000 of you people who was replying back to that email will wake up without a job next week, unfortunately. And if you voted for this administration, I want you to stand on that. That's the hill you're gonna stand on. You're gonna be like, you know what? I believe in our president. I believe in our president's economy, that I will not just be out of a job, but I will be able to find a job immediately because the economy is booming. That's what I want you. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't want to hear you go to the news or go to any media source and be like, you know, I voted for him and I thought it was no. Don't do that, because when we had to sit through 4 years of Biden and we all was like, we didn't know where we was going because he didn't know where he was going, so we was stagnant for 4 years. Same way we had to hold that for 4 years. You got to do the same thing too. Okay, I'm just saying.
Reversible.
Do you think that the OMB, the executive branch, should use this shutdown as an excuse to permanently fire federal workers?
Well, I can tell you right now, the president has been a benevolent president. He is mitigating the harm right now. OMB has not come out of the blocks and fired a bunch of people. That's not what's happening.
But do you think they should?
Well, it provides an opportunity. Chuck Schumer has provided the Trump White House with an opportunity to downsize the government on priorities and policies and personnel that they deem to be non-essential. Now, Chuck Schumer has very different priorities about the federal government than
What's your priority?
Republicans.
You're the Speaker of the House. You can
I
say
certainly want to downsize the size and scope of the federal government.
So you think that the people who are maybe furloughed right now, or even working without pay, should be on the chopping block for permanent dismissal?
I wouldn't say that, because the people that are furloughed right now are hardworking American federal workers.
Who should be fired during the shutdown?
I don't know. You'd have to show me a proposal of what is being presented.
I don't have a proposal.
I don't have it either, but I have a conference call with Russ Vought at OMB in about 2 hours, and we're going to ask him about the details of that. But I'll tell you right now.
So this is happening.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to find out what his plans are. But I will tell you this. Right now, who's being harmed are women, infants, and children. Their nutrition program is stalled. Veterans who are not getting their services right now, and very important services like suicide prevention. That's a day-to-day thing.
No question.
They're unfunded.
I mean, it's horrible.
Right
This is happening.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to find out what his
I'll
plans
let y'all
are. But
hear
I'll
this
tell you
again.
this. Right now, who's being harmed are women, infants, and children. Their nutrition program is stalled. Veterans who are not getting their services right now, and very important services like suicide prevention. That's a day-to-day thing.
No question.
They're unfunded.
I mean, it's horrible.
FEMA's not funded right now for insurance
That
policies.
is temporary. So you're going to talk to Russ Vought, and obviously we're going to ask what happens after that. But last week, he sent a memo directing agencies to start drafting plans
that's
to
his
do
job.
just this.
So when
I know,
you're the director,
but you have a point of view. Can you, on that phone call, say with him, please don't do this? This is not appropriate?
No, because look, if Russ Vought has to make tough decisions. Whoever is the director of the Office of Management and Budget in a scenario like this has to make tough choices. They have to decide. They're tasked under law. They must decide what are essential services and what are not. What are policies and proposals that are priorities.
It's usually temporary under a shutdown. We're talking about permanently firing people.
Well, I'm not sure that hasn't happened before, but if the authority is there and he sees a program that is wasting taxpayer dollars, you and I could both agree the government doesn't do everything in the most efficient manner.
Isn't that constitutionally, that's your job. Article 1, that is your job.
It is until Chuck Schumer decides to hand the keys to the president, which is literally what he's doing. If he makes the decision to shut the federal government down, he's shutting down the legislative branch, and he is giving the authority to the executive. That's how the system works, and he's made that decision. So is it foolhardy for him to do so? Of course it is. Could it backfire fantastically? Yes.
Do you think that the OMB, the
So what do y'all think about what he just said? I don't want y'all to comment what your feelings is about Democrats and Republicans. Right now, this is the time to speak on this particular conversation. Whereas people who are deemed non-essential, but he's talking about federal funding is cut right now because of the shutdown, which is temporary. But if you're talking about cutting 750,000 jobs in the federal government, just to give y'all a scope of what that looks like, a Air Force base such as Tinker Air Force Base has roughly, I think, 75,000 employees. maybe more. 75 to 100,000 employees. A lot. Anyway, that's just one Air Force base. So then you got to take away about 7 to 10 more Air Force bases around the country. Now, if you think about that in your city, if your city was to loot, and they're gonna be taking this out of every city. You talking about not just Air Force employees. You're talking about national park workers. You're talking about goddamn the National Weather Service, them employees. You talking about, I mean, it's a bunch. There's a bunch of federally funded jobs. VA hospital. People that work in the VA hospital could be losing their jobs. Veterans already get shitty service as it is. Imagine downsizing the VA hospital. It's insane. I mean, we could go on and on. Medicaid. You know how long you have to wait on the phone to talk to somebody about your Medicaid? But let them downsize the people in the call center. You know, take away a few jobs, make people work harder for the money that they earn, which is already a little less. But if they have to downsize, those lower people will probably lose their jobs over somebody who's in a more senior position. So now you talk about jobs all across the board. You know, it's jobs all. That's why they had everybody sending in those emails to Doge. I don't know if Doge is Elon Musk or who it is, but apparently whoever Doge is, because Doge had made a visit to the U.S. base in Oklahoma, the Air Force base in Oklahoma, not long ago. And I don't know what Doge consists of, but all I can tell you is they were there looking for non-essential employees that they can get rid of because they're trying to downsize. And that's a fact. So y'all about to lose your job. If you voted for them, you are about to lose your job. Can you hear it?